So we all dads of what they call kids with learning disability. My first thing I want to point out is I despise that they call it disabilities, because I be like, my kid may learn different than your kid, but my kid can do stuff your kid can't do. You get what I'm saying? Like my kid know math 10 times better than yours. So I always call it uniquenesses. So I think the first question that'll be a good one to ask y'all is, how did y'all feel the first time you found out that your kid like had a uniqueness, especially like at the diagnosis? Because I know it hit some of us different, because you know, we grew up in a different world where they just put everybody in special education, then we called it SPED. Like, we didn't have no real understanding. They didn't really separate them from the kids. Dyslexia, ADHD, autism, we didn't really know no difference. So I know for me, when I found out that like my boys was autistic, then I both of my kids got diagnosed at the same time.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, he got autism, but they got two different forms of autism. And I'm like, okay. So it was a whole experience, because it was like, first, I don't know what that means. So it took a lot of research, you get what I'm saying? But eventually, it grew to be something that I love, because I was able to understand that my kids was different. But what about y'all? Like, what was that like that first time you found out? What was that like?
I'll start. So for me, like I said, I got my son tested when he was 2, because me and his mom noticed like certain little instances and things.
Yeah, earlier better too.
Yeah. So not responding to his name, like we'll call him, 4 or 5 times, he wouldn't turn around. So we're like, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or like the fluttering of the hands and stuff like that. And so, we made a decision then to say, hey man, let's go get him tested and figure out. But I know the initial diagnosis when we first found out that he was autistic, my thing was just trying to figure out how we can make him have as much of a normal life as a kid or somebody who's not on the spectrum, right, as they say, right? And like you said, uniqueness, right? Because again, my son can do a lot of things that other kids can. My son is smart as a whip, so he may not be able to maybe right now verbally connect sentences or something like that, but if at 3 years old he can count to 100, like it's crazy what these kids with these uniquenesses can do.
I'm telling you. How did you feel when you first found out that your daughter had dyslexia?
I kind of picked up on it before they diagnosed her with it, so we got her tested. I think I kind of noticed it in kindergarten when she came. We was doing some homework and she came to me asking why all the kids could get done with their schoolwork faster than she can. And since I have dyslexia as well, so some of the things that she was going through, I've experienced it. And then on top of that, like seeing how frustrated others would get when they help her, like with her work or whatever, and how she would shut down, was the same thing I used to do. So it's like, for me and my approach, I try and like implement things that I remembered. And so like, for instance, she used to write her 5s backwards, the exact same thing I used to do. So I taught her my little trick. I was like, over, down, up, and around. And like that, for whatever reason, the little pattern and the making it kind of like a riddle helped her remember that. So I kind of knew maybe a year and a half, 2 years before it was like officially diagnosed. My thing was, let's get it tested early, because I didn't get tested until I was down there in like the 7th grade. Like is when they when they officially said something about it. I always flew under the radar, because when they would test me, I would always pass, but I was still struggling in my other classes. So my thing is like, I just wanted to make sure that she, got help early enough in order for it to make a true impact.
What about you, Blake? How was your experience with your daughter and autism?
It was pretty interesting, because we found out because she used to elope from class, even like as a little young Thundercat, like even when she was an infant. So she was doing that, but she was always taller than everybody. So I used to call it Michael Myers syndrome. You see, you bigger than everything, you go attack it. And so she always felt smarter. She always felt like a bigger kid. Like even now, she even act like a teenager. So when we found out, like it was just one of those things, like we know, but we're not gonna treat it like nothing. You're gonna be normal. You're gonna go to school like a normal kid. You're gonna be a normal kid. Until just recently, we just put her on meds. We were scared of that stuff. So for me, that's important, because it's like
for focus.
It's for focus, because her thing is not that she do stuff out of control. It's when I want something, let me find a way to get your attention to get it. And so I'll just do it until I get it. So as of recently, just a little personal, she got suspended from school. Why? She threw her backpack over the balcony at her school. Why?
God,
Because
dog.
she couldn't get some candy. I have to tell her, I can give you candy all the time. I just need you to go do what you got to do. So for us, it was like one of those things. We didn't look at it different, and I'll never look at it different. I won't look at y'all kids different. I will look at y'all kids just as normal, because when we do say that is a different thing, or it is not just the norm, we are separating them. It's almost like when you think about going too far, we'll leave right there. But when you think about it, it's almost like you don't want to separate yourself, so stop separating yourself.
Yep.
You kind of get what I'm saying? So like we didn't want that to happen with her. So when she look at everything, she look at everything through a normal lens. She go to therapy. She does the normal things, but everybody goes to therapy. So like that's one of the things that we were big on, was just making sure that her normalcy was important. And she walks around with normalcy. She don't act like nothing is wrong or anything. She do what she do.
And I think
And she high functioning, by the way.
And that's a good point, because that's what the therapy is supposed to do, like AVA, occupational therapy, stuff like that they put them through. So a lot of people sometimes avoid the therapy because they look at that normalcy in the wrong light. So they be like, oh, I finna just tell you normal. No, you got to get them the help and the resources so that they can be able to blend in society, in school, in class. But if you don't get them that help, then that makes it hard. Something I wanted to ask you, Keith, was, did knowing already like that you had dyslexia, did that help you? Because I know like
You said, did what? Did it help me in what manner?
did it help you in being able to help her, like how you able to show her some of like the the tricks of the trade and stuff?
Yeah, and for me, like when it comes to helping her, like I said, dyslexia is more so about like patterns, and like it does help me when it comes to helping her, because things that like people don't think about or take into account is like the embarrassment or the anxiety that you deal with at such a young age, and you don't know how to make it make sense. That's another thing that I realized she was going through before the diagnosis, because she'll have all these thoughts going on in her head, and like you could tell she's like trying to get out, but she's scared. She don't want to say the wrong thing, or whatever she says, she's gonna get in trouble. So I kind of made a pact with her, like, look, you will never get in trouble if you just come and tell daddy. Like, you'll always have like a space to talk to me about whatever it is, and then from there we'll figure it out. But don't hold things in because you think you're gonna get in trouble, or you're saying something the wrong way, or you're not reading the word the right way. If you're reading it wrong, I'll read it for you so you can understand what it is, and then we'll just keep going over it. But teaching her how to deal and regulate that anxiety, teaching her how to take her deep breaths, calm down. Because my thing is, I still had to learn how to get over that, and then still, even if I mess up, it's okay. If I embarrass myself, it's okay. That in those moments, like, were the moments that I feel like I learned the most also. So like how they say, like, pressure make a diamond. Like, you need to go through some pressure sometimes. Sometimes embarrassment help you in, like, long term. So, but just teaching her how to like self-regulate, calm herself down, and then get back to it.
I like that, and I like the fact, and I'm just going to a little side note, I like the fact that now they don't have to be as embarrassed because we got STEM schools. Now as parents, we're still going to be tough because we got to find our way to make it be what it's going to be. But I do love that the STEM schools, they take time. They're going to let you make the mistake. They're going to be there for you. They're going to up your education and your levels of how you think, how you talk, how you move. So I do enjoy the fact that we do have STEM schools now, because that's what my daughter is in out in DeSoto. It's a STEM school.
Did y'all ever go through like public school IEP?
Yes.
What's IEP?
Yes.
So I don't remember what it stands
It's
for.
a breakdown of your diagnosis of what you have. What you're dealing with.
So the schools get IEPs. Now here's some stuff that real messed up with public school IEPs. This finna blow your mind. So schools get funding, they get more funding for having an IEP. Now with the IEP, they supposed to number one, they gotta meet with you. So you gotta meet with the principal, the teacher, and whoever gonna be helping them, the counselors, the whole thing, right? So the IEP is built for your kid to get the assistance to be able to keep up with the other kids. But maybe not everywhere, but that ain't always the way it works. An IEP is the most embarrassing thing as a parent
Absolutely.
you can go through for your kid. It's like meetings. The only thing I can relate it to
So yeah.
was when
I
you
would
remember when
caveat that.
kids,
Yeah.
we were coming up, they used to have them meetings, but it was before they got sent to the alternative school. And you could see like the parents of the kids, it used to just look like they had went through a lot. Like, dang, you gotta have a meeting about how bad your kid is and why.
I
Like,
got
so
you for that.
IEP is pretty much that. What's wrong with your kid, what they doing wrong, and it's like they dissect it,
Yep.
but there's no solution necessarily at the end of it. It's what we go attempt to do.
Yep.
But this the messed up part about the IEP. When Malachi was going through his IEP, when he would get better, they would take his resources.
Yep.
And they would tell us, they told me that verbatim, he's not failing enough for us to assist him.
That's crazy.
They sometimes just don't do nothing.
Yeah.
You've had to call a few times about the IEP.
Same thing,
Now
yep.
going back to the embarrassing part, honestly, the first time when we figured we had to do it, it was kind of like, dang. But then after we realized she needed,
She needed, yeah.
so when you start to understand the needs of a child, when
come
you
on.
realize them attitudes, you ain't gonna be able to, like, you gonna be able to manage it, but that's the thing. Your kid respects you on another level than they
Sure
do.
do.
So when they get
Yep.
to school, they ain't that scared of them like they scared of us. My daughter always be like,
They know my parents
"Dad,
know what's going
Dad,
on.
Dad, I
My
tell
mama
my
go
friends
talk
I'm
to
scared of you. You strong. You strong as daddy I know. And I be like, keep telling them that. Because I'm strong for you. You the princess. So they
Come
can
on.
play with you. So it's just like the IEP can have its downside of thing. But I will say this about it too. It's like that because if you want to be completely honest, we all on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, one way or another.
You probably be sitting in your office, sitting there thinking of a million things. You know what that is? Procrastination, ADHD. I
Yeah.
can't think of one thing to go and do.
Yeah.
That's
We
big.
all on the spectrum.
It's just we
So the-
gotta normalize that we don't all learn the same way.
So really mad if you take your kid in there just off questioning it. Your kid will end up with an IEP on the spectrum because it is so wide.
Yep.
So that's why I said treat my daughter like she normal is where I'm going.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you you unique. And that no disrespect to y'all because I think you should if that's the
Yeah.
angle you
Yeah.
take. But for my kid, I'd raise her hard because that's how my mama raised me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you, baby, you messing up.
Yeah.
You did that at school. You the reason you can't go to Disneyland this year.
Yeah. You keeping the accountability
the
and not letting it.
and she
handicap
apologizes.
her.
Yep, so I'm
Yeah.
learning now she apologizes. Oh, I'm so sorry for doing that.
Yeah.
Like I get more apologies. That's a step.
That's such a good balance.
That's dope.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Did you ever have to go through the IEP?
So we actually are in that process now. I think it's April 7th. We are meeting with DeSoto ISD to go through that procedure. So this is gonna be my first time seeing that whole process play out and trying to figure out what's a good plan for our son and figure out how he can, progress. And so from our understanding, a couple schools we looked at in DeSoto are pretty high ranking, and they have like a special program for kids like that.
Nice.
And I like because they don't really separate them from all the other kids, because
Right.
all kinds of students go there. Don't matter whether you got an IEP, it don't matter, right? They treat everybody the same, and I think they integrate them along with other students, not just special needs kids or anything. Everybody's doing
Right.
the same thing. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, ask as many questions as possible, and then I say people can go through their first one. After they go through their first one, a thing that nobody tells you is you can get an IEP advocate, and it's a person who is they meet with you before the IEP meeting, and they help ask the questions and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
we actually saw our BCBA right now where he goes to. So he goes to a CCAM out there in DeSoto, just by Metro Care. But yeah, she's going to basically be a part of our process.
Yeah,
and speaking
that's
on our
good.
behalf to say, hey, this is where because he's been in therapy since he was 2. So since diagnosis, pretty much they've worked with different BCBAs, and now they have all those metrics that they done laid out over time to where he is now, and he's 5. And they can show like, hey, this is where he's progressed, this is where he struggles at. This is where we feel like he needs to be in order to kind of, like you say, stay on that same path. So it's because she's really like, nah, I'm gonna make sure we get him to where he needs to be.
I love that.
It's cool, and it's black, as a black woman as well. So like she,
that's
she
good.
really loves my son to be like, hey, no, don't make sure we get him where he needs to be. So
Yeah.
it gives us the confidence as parents to say, man, like you said, we don't have to look at autism or uniqueness as a thing, right? Just, hey, my kid just learns a little bit differently, and we're gonna make a plan to get him where he needs to be.
That's it, bro.
Love that.
But even think about like where he was 2 years ago to where he is now is like leaps and
It's crazy
bounds.
because some, I mean,
like
yeah.
compared to what they was telling you or what you was explaining to me, what they was telling you he was going through or what he would be capable of doing. It's like just seeing him walk in the house is like, dang, you done come a long way.
I remember he wouldn't even say like words. It was just more the pointing stuff. To now he, you know, he can say
he was
some words. Yeah, he was considered nonverbal at the time. Yeah, now he can.
Love that.
I
bro.
want this or that one or this one, and then you know shapes and all these different things. He came up to me one day. He was like, "This is a rhombus." I said, "Huh?" I said, "You know what a rhombus is?"
He crazy. They get to
He literally knows all the shapes. And
Maybe like Malachi one day told me some. Okay, you do this side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna build a flex capacitor engine to go inside his butt.
That sounds like Malachi.
You want first of all, it's Legos.
Crank it up.
So, because it's a bunch of pictures. Now you want me to build a what? You get what I'm saying?
Camshaft.
Yeah, put the Cadillac converter to go under the boat of the Legos, so Bowser will be able to go faster.
That's crazy.
I have a question for you guys. Has there ever been, and I know there has, but if you could give us the story of like something that like really stuck with you, a moment in time throughout your child's process that felt like it was heavy or like kind of like unfair, that you have to like maybe go out of your way a little bit more, or it's something that's conflicting with the time schedules that you do, so you're not able to spend time with them as much as you want to or should and or they need in order to help them in different
I ain't
areas.
gonna lie, bro. Just going back to what I've always talked about when we come to this platform, is just the divorce. As a child that is familiar or are on the spectrum, when they are familiar, that's what they know.
That's what they know.
So eventually the questions start coming when you come in back out here.
No matter what you told.
No matter how many times I explained it. So one thing it hurt me so bad because I was just like, dang, I'm the guy that I used to pick up from school every time. Mom drop off, I pick up. She spend time with me after school. We go to the gym. She come to the gym with me. She sit at the front desk, greet everybody come in. Like that's what we did. So that's what she was used to. And then it started to turn into mom pick me up, drop me off, and pick me up. And then I come home with mom and dad over here, and then I call him at 7. So for me, in the beginning, that was really hard. And then I realized it could work.
What made you realize it could work?
When I realized that I also need time to still grieve. See, we grieve different. We grieve different. So I can grieve and be happy in this moment, but I'm still grieving.
So in that moment, that was a moment
that
you knew that was hurtful for your child.
And it was
but you
hurtful
still
for me.
had to choose
Yeah,
you.
because no, what hurt your child hurt you. What hurt your child hurt you. But when I chose me, the weekends were still the best times. I'm still fun dad. So just like I don't got it this weekend, I had her for the whole spring break and this past weekend. She didn't even want to go home. But guess what she said? Dad, when we come back, I don't get my nails done. You already know it. Yeah, you already know it. Hey, come on now.
But you had to figure out.
I had to process. See, the thing is, we don't go through processes with everything. We choose what we want to go through a process with.
You ain't lying.
Everything is a process, bro. So if Keith don't feel that well right now, he got a trip. Guess what? He got to begin a process in order to make this trip still be a good trip. When you leave here, you got to go do a process to get this video uploaded the right way, so the right parts of the content is sticking out. When he leave here, he got a process to get his kid together so he can get ready for the next day tomorrow. It's a process.
What
for
gave
everything.
you the courage to go through the process you didn't want to go through?
God and isolation.
Yes.
Bro, until you start learning, bro, one thing for sure, I'm not all the way there with my faith. And I'm not ashamed to admit that.
What's all the way there though?
But that's the point. Long as I wake up every morning, I thank him for being alive. Long as I pray and talk to him, bro, I talk to him throughout the day. When driving over here, I was like, God, just let me get over here good. I know this break. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, when you learn how to talk to him in isolation, it ain't a bad isolation.
Yep.
So you remember when y'all used to talk to me like, man, yo, isolate, bro, you gotta get out of there. I needed to be in there. So I learned how to get out. Y'all watch Batman. How many times he had to go up that little tunnel to jump up out that thing?
Come on.
So when it came to my kid, it was a part of, bro, we gonna keep struggling emotionally, or we gonna start enjoying life again. And we gotta enjoy life now, and we gotta all move forward, and that's just the bottom line. So is it hard? Is it easy? Absolutely not. I cried plenty nights, but we on the other side now.
Yeah.
And we still working. We got things to build up on, but I'm happy to be on the other side of it than be still wondering what could be a good thing out of all of it.
I know my moment that felt like unfair, which is crazy, it's two of them, and this was with my oldest son, Benji. Number one, when the first time he went to daycare when we didn't know he was autistic yet, the first week, He sat down at a table, and he went to a daycare where you could watch them in the classroom on screen. He sat in the same chair. He did not move. He did not go to the bathroom. He did not speak to nobody. He did not eat. He sat in the chair. He cried from the time we dropped him out to the time we picked him up. He did that every day for a week until I finally just went to got him. And you know, not knowing what was wrong, but understanding there's something socially not clicking for him so badly to where he's struggling and trying to figure out how to blend. Fast forward years later, knowing that he autistic when he was still in public school, finding out that in class he's trying so hard not to STEM that he will just sit there. You get what I'm saying? He will struggle the entire day just to come home and have freedom, to a point to where he told me one night, like, when you hear a kid tell you that they are depressed, in them expressing themselves, you like saying things like, I don't want to go to school ever. Like, I don't ever want to talk to other people. If I can not ever leave my room, like, I wouldn't leave. Like, I just want to be with y'all. And finally him opening up and he be like, cause I'm different. I don't know what nobody's talking about. I know they don't understand me. Like, and I'm trying my hardest because he loved school and he loved to try. He loved to get his work done. But when he couldn't, he like you were saying, he went into this different type of isolation. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna just be in this shell. And then that year he had a teacher that didn't understand him. So that was the 2 times for me where it just felt so unfair. And as a parent, I felt so weak because I knew I'm like, I got to get you out of public school. But I didn't have the money and the resources to put him nowhere else. And I'll be honest, that pain turned me into a different type of dog that year.
That go back into like even the title of this conversation. Like, I'm doing my best, but is my best enough? Like, you doing everything you can to get your child the help and the resources, but all you can do right now is just have them in that public school, and the public school ain't doing their job. That's tough.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of these STEM schools, like I was gonna tell him, like Reeves is in DeSoto. That's where my daughter is in DeSoto. So I'm thinking you said DeSoto. But yeah, so Reeves is a STEM school. So these schools are for these students.
Yeah.
But when you walk in these schools, you think you are walking into a fun zone. Like, they got treadmills in the hallway to calm them down. They got pod rooms to go sit in to catch their breath. So a moment like when he went through that, he could have went in the pod and just calm it down.
Yeah.
So when Officer Mike called me every day, hey, this is Officer Mike Blake, how you doing? Harley want to talk to you. Like, what's up, Officer Mike? Let me talk to my child. Dad, it's just not a good day.
Yeah, come on.
I don't want to be here. Well, guess what, Harley? In order for us to go to MIT, something she talk about a lot, her second grade public school teacher taught her about MIT.
Yeah.
Wow.
So some teachers do care in the public system. But it took her to get her to understand, oh, I need to do my work. These STAR test stuff, like practice tests, are important. Yeah. So when I say my child don't play in that book, she don't play. The thing is, she got to be in a space that provides that. Yep. So even for him, his son just need to be in a space where he's provided that energy of safety. Like Keith said. Keith said, when you come talk to me, this your safe zone. Yeah. So the biggest word we need to be taking here from is just pure out communication. Yep. Talk to your kid, man. Talk to them like they are regular.
Yeah. Which is what I do.
No matter if you don't think they understand it, give them the most simple language ever. Hey, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to start somewhere though, but it do start with us. Our energy reflects how they move the very next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harley see me mad all day. Harley don't want to go to school the next day because I'm upset all day.
Yeah. You finna add something to that?
Man, I think for me, mine was pretty much when me and his mom, chose to split our engagement. And my son was super young at the time. He probably was 5 months old. Man, so think about a brand new baby, and then you got to go through that emotionally, and like you said, you got to grieve about it, you got to think about it, and then you got to figure out this whole co-parenting thing, because each parent still feels a way, and you got to figure out what's best for your child. And here I am at the time. I think I was living in like McKinney or something at the time, and I was driving all the way to Glen Heights, man, just to get my child, man. And it wasn't no, hey, let me meet you halfway. It's, oh, if you want him, you gotta come over here.
And that's pure traffic too.
And it's crazy because now you fast forward to now, and it's totally different, man. Yeah. We on the same page, and it took a lot of time for us, like you say, to isolate, to figure out, let me put the personal stuff aside, what we gotta do for this child. And even recently, like, well, I decided, because I think at times she was saying like, hey, like, I feel like I have a lot of stuff on my plate when it comes to him. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know, it's school stuff. So like, she feels like she's always calling the schools to get certain paperwork done. And so I told her, I said, I'll tell you what, if the fact that you feel this way, I'll tell you what, I said, let's do this. Let's set up a monthly call. We can go over everything, because we do like a parent training meeting once a month at a C camp. And I said, I'll tell you what, to remedy that so you don't feel that way, let's set up a monthly call. Let's go over everything about him that we need to get done, whether it be school related, whether it be something as simple as, hey, he need more snacks. Hey, it's springtime, we need to get him more clothes. How you want to divvy that out? Whether we split it down the middle, I'll grab some stuff, you grab some stuff, whatever it is. Or hey, since I did this, can you call and do this or whatever? You know, I made that situation to make it easy on her, so she don't feel like, hey, I feel like I'm always doing this. And I feel like we've came together really good over these last like year and a half, it's almost 2 years, about what's best for our child and how we gonna navigate that without the BS. We still got our times where we butt heads with stuff, but now it's like, this is all I've been wanting for the longest is, hey, let's figure out what we gotta do.
That's good.
You had to go through a process.
You
bro.
gotta go through a process, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's been fire, man, because it was really tough at first, for real. I was kind of like, man, I'm finna just go down to the attorney general office, man. I'm finna go ahead and just fill it out, put me on child support, and do what I gotta do. But you know, she was one of those say, you know what, like, nah, I don't want that for you. Like, I want us to, we gonna figure this out. And you know, it took time, but you know, we've been rocking pretty well. So
I love that, bro. Last question for y'all. What would y'all say to a dad who may be feeling like it's not enough? We already talk about so much how we go through not feeling like enough. Sometimes you don't feel like enough in your relationship, your marriage, being a father, financially. What would y'all encourage them, especially if they got a kid that has a uniqueness, to keep looking for them resources? You get what I'm saying? Keep processing, telling them that it get better. What would y'all say to them?
I mean, to be honest, you gotta wake up every day. You gotta keep going. I mean, at the end of the day, kind of what you may went through, whether it was like as adolescents. I mean, some of us don't always have the best childhood growing up, or we did. But I feel like, you know, when you have a child, man, your obligation is to do what you can for that child while you're on this earth. And so I always tell myself, I wake up every day, you know, I'll be tired. You know, that job is crazy that I do. But at the end of the day, if we like where we at and it's for this child, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'm not gonna complain about it. Even though sometimes I'm gonna get up and do what I gotta do, because at the end of the day, I want to see my son progressing. I want him to be his best version of himself. And it's on us as parents to do so.
Yeah. What would you say to encourage them, Blake?
Patience is a virtue, man.
Yeah.
And faith is powerful. And communication rules all. And when we talk about communication, man, it is okay to communicate in every way possible. You cannot cover up any communication. If it hurt, it hurt. We talk about hard conversations, but we don't have them. And especially when it comes to, we have to do this with our significant others. It's gonna be hard in the beginning because we share love. It's gonna be hard in the beginning because we was always together. It's gonna come a point, as my pastor said, you're gonna go through a season. You're gonna come out that season, you're gonna be like, about that thing, I made it.
Man.
But what he said was another season gonna come. So when it comes to these kids, and when it comes to being dads and thinking that enough, like we just need enough, just understand that the season's gonna keep coming. So the prayer has to be powerful. The communication has to be persistent. And you just gotta keep gunning toward it with your faith, man. Honestly, I just stay in that book. It's simple, and it's the most simple thing you're gonna hear every time, but it's the most important thing, man. But patience is a virtue, and you gotta ride that process out, because it do get better. All of us just sat right here and said that it got better. So for everybody out there, it's gonna get better. Same thing, get out for everybody.
What you got on, Keith?
I mean, I feel like Blake said it all.
My bad, I talk a lot.
But for me, I was. You have to put an emphasis on communication, like, especially when it's for your child. Like, we all talk about communication in relationships, but in like you guys' situations where you're not with your significant others, sometimes you just got to put that frustration to the side, and communicate. Like, that was great, and I know how it was.
He knows firsthand how that situation was back then.
In order for y'all to be able to like get to the point of like, look, this is what we're gonna meet up at. We're gonna have these conversations. We need this done, this done, this done. Testing is this. I need your support over here on that. All right, well, I need you to help pick up over here. That crap helps so much. And don't be scared to ask questions. Like your child, don't be scared to ask your child questions. And then don't be scared to go to that school and like ask questions, because especially when they know a father's involved, it hit different.
Yeah, because I be up there. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
We've been talking about talk about it and communicate real fast. I'm gonna make this snappy. We can't be afraid of implementation.
Absolutely.
No matter what that look like. Because we all said it, like I just told y'all, we just did the medication thing. We was scared of that from the beginning.
Yeah,
She's
same
10
with us.
now. She about to be 10 this year. So it's like, you can't be afraid of what the implementation might look like, because it really might benefit us. So if we haven't been there, like all of us didn't know what the IEP was, but now we do. So now we know we don't really got to be afraid of. We just got to know what it means, and we got to know how to stand on it.
Yeah.
Because if they gonna give our kids resources, we got to make sure that they give them the resources. That's all I'm gonna say on that. That's we can't be scared of implementation.
Yep. All I gotta tell you is everything they said. Go get them resources. Money don't solve everything, but like LaRosa said, go get that bag.
Yeah.
Go get that bag.